Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Heron Hill. I'm down in the basement. As you can see, I have peppers that have sprouted. Peppers to me take a while. These were, at least 10 days, some of them even 2 weeks to sprout. But I held in there. Now we are on to tomatoes. These I probably should have planted last week, but hey, gardening is not a race. Do it at your own pace. Actually, a little bit later is probably a little bit better than too early. So, tomato planting time. This time though, I'm not going to be planting in cell packs like I have here. What I am going to use is called a soil blocker. In the long run, this is going to save you a lot of money. You won't have to buy plastic pots. Oh, plastic is so terrible. I'm trying to get away from that. These are silicone. They're going to last forever. Actually, to clean them, I can even put them in my dishwasher. So great. But this is even a better way because you're just using the soil itself to make a cell or a block of soil in which to plant your seed. And then no plastic needed. As the roots grow out of this block, they will air prune. A root hits the air and automatically stops. It won't grow in air. And so this is really what I like to do. So I am going to make myself a whole tray of these soil blockers and plant my tomatoes in them. So come along and I'll bring you down close and I'll show you exactly what you need to do. As I said, I love this method. So I'm not using seed starter mix. I am using just potting soil. It needs to be fairly wet, not dripping as it, pouring off, but it needs to stay in a clump as it's wet. So I've pre-stirred up a bunch of this, and I think I'm even going to add a little bit more water because I didn't think I had quite enough. There we go. Okay. If I see any little sticks and stuff, you always get those sticks in potting soil. However they make it, they don't grind these up. These aren't bad, and they will decompose over time. No real problem. But I want to take out any hindrance at all from these seeds that push out that first root. I don't want them to hit a stick. So I'm going to sift through there and take away any of those large kind of sticks that I see. Actually, the soil blockers work a little bit better when you don't. So we're going to be filling up these little cells here, these little squares, which are probably, I think, about 1.5 inches square. Not too hard to do. Just push down into the soil like this, and they fill up rather nicely. Sometimes they don't, so you may have to squish a little bit back in there, but generally they do a pretty good job just squeezing it into the soil. So then you're going to take your tray, and all you have to do is set it in there and plunge down this handle, and voila, you have a lovely soil block. Now this tray will fit 5 across, so I'll do 4, 4, 4, and then after about 5 of them I can put another row along here. And there is conveniently a little hole in each one of these soil blocks, of which you can just drop the seed in. No need to cover it up or anything like that. These stay moist enough. I put them on a, one of the trays that have the grates on it, and then it goes inside a drip tray. So you can water, and no need, if you overwater, take it out, dump it out, and then just let those set there. You don't want to have these dry out, because that's not a benefit for your plant. Same with your other cells that you plant your seeds in. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this all up, and then we can start filling these up with tomato seeds. I don't think I'm going to fill it entirely all with tomato seeds. I'm not going to use that many. If you checked out one of my last videos, I'll put it up in the corner. You can see what I'm actually going to do. I'm not planting my full array of tomatoes. This year I'm going to rely on a local nursery to purchase some seedlings. So these are ones that I know that the nursery will not carry, and I want to be sure I have those varieties that I truly love growing in my garden. So I'll be back after I fill up this tray. Time to plant the tomatoes. Okay, in the last video, one of the last ones, I just used a toothpick with the seeds on my hand, dipped into a little bit of water, and it sticks right to that toothpick. And I just place it in this little well. Depending upon the age of your tomato seeds, these are new. I'm only going to be putting one in every single cell. And as long as I keep these moist, and I'll put a humidity dome over this, you don't need to bury that tomato seed in here. One important thing with soil blocks is that you need a tray. You don't have a little way to put these in here very securely. So I write along the side of my tray. I put painter's tape here and mark each row as to what I have in that row. So on to more tomato seeds. Okay. Okay, all planted, except it's not all tomatoes. I planted some basil in here also, and some zinnias, because I don't need that many tomatoes. But I'm going to put on a humidity dome, kind of help them boost their odds of germinating, although I don't really think that I have a problem with that. Also, I have a heat mat to go under them, only until they germinate. And then it's not needed anymore. And light isn't necessarily needed at this particular instance, because tomato seeds don't need light to germinate. Some plants do, but tomatoes do not. So hopefully these will germinate within the week. In the past, I've had germination as soon as 2 days, and usually it doesn't go much more than a week, especially with tomatoes. So I have a few more trays of soil blockers that I'm going to put up for some more flowers, and that will just about get me set for the gardening season. until I go to that nursery and see what other things that might be there that I might want to plant in my garden this year. So the one thing about a soil blocker is it's an investment. This particular one is pretty heavy duty, made out of metal. And so it's going to last me a good long time as long as I take good care of it. I usually clean it up very well after I use it and dry it out so no rust happens. But it sure beats having to buy plastic 6-cell trays, every single year. And those things don't last year after year. But these soil blockers, these will. Once these grow up and once the seedlings get to about, I think about 5 or 6 inches tall, and I will start hardening them off to go outside, and then they'll go in the greenhouse for a little bit of time until I'm ready to put them in my raised bed gardens. And then they're off to the races, and we'll see what kind of a crop I'll get this year. So thanks for following along with me on this video. If you've never heard of a soil blocker, now you have. I guess if you want to be environmentally conscious and not invest in so much plastic, this is your best bet. So until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt, happy gardening. Bye.